As a court, please, my lady, I will try, though I have a flu, but I will try to speak loud. As a court, please, my lady. Now, Ms. Ndlovu, when you were calling the families, you were facilitating the discharge. Is that so?
I was not facilitating the discharge. I was letting the family know about the patients that were to be discharged.
You were notifying them about the patients who
were to be discharged to the NGO.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ndlovu. And when you were doing that, subsequent to that, there was a meeting that was held at CCRC with the families that you called. Is that so?
Yes, Council.
Now, Ms. Ndlovu, I hold instruction from Ms. Nyatlu that before and during Life Esidimeni project, you were a member of MDT team at CCRC. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
I further hold instructions from Ms. Nyatlu that before she could sign a discharge form of the patient, she relied on the recommendation of the MDT team. Is that so?
The judge, Council, can I have your question again, please?
I'll make it clear to you, ma'am. I hold instructions that Ms. Nyatlu was relying on the recommendations of the MD team before she could discharge patients. Is that so?
Yes, Council.
Thank you. And I further hold instructions that the patients that you selected were also assessed by the MDT team. Is that correct?
That one I don't know, Council. The patients that were discharged to the NGO were not assessed by MDT. Let me say, if the patients were assessed, I was not part of the people who assessed the patient.
No. I got that, man. But I'm saying, but those patients were ultimately assessed by the MDT team.
Do you have that knowledge or not? Yes or no?
I don't have that knowledge.
As the court pleases, Ms. Ndlovu, when you compiled that list, it is on record that you find 73 patients that were.
It is on record that
there was 73 patients that meet the criteria that you were given by the CEO. That's so.
I don't remember the number of the patients, Council.
As a court pleases, Ms. Ndlovu, let me help you to remember. I'll take you to page of your statement. As a court please, my lady. On page 37488 of V9. Three 7488.
Just bear with me.
As a quick, please, my lady.
Are you there, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yes, Judge.
Continue, Mr. Shabangu.
We start line number 1, we skip that paragraph, then we go to the next one, we say line number 3, that is also in bold. There, after life Esidimeni, we'll read, Sebadinga received 73 mental health care users and Anchor received 35 mental health, received 35. Do you see that?
Yes, I see that, Council.
The 73 number that we see there, is this the 73 that were on the list that you compiled?
Council, yeah, some of the patients were the 73. I don't recall the information very well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ndlovu. Now, after you compile that list, it is clear that, oh, sorry, my lady, my instruction is that there were a lot of patients at CCRC that were supposed to be discharged.
They were?
Hence, supposed to be discharged.
Don't know. Just repeat it. I didn't get the first part of it.
There were a lot of patients at CCRC that
there were a lot.
There were many, my lady.
A lot of patients.
Yes, my lady.
Okay, continue.
CCRC that were supposed to be discharged home or to an NGO. Hence, you came to the number of 73. Is that correct?
Is correct, Council.
Thank you very much.
Continue.
I further hold instructions that these patients that were supposed to be discharged, there was a problem either for them if those who didn't have families, or some who did have families, the family didn't want to deal with them, or the families were not known. Is that correct?
It's correct, Council.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, ma'am, you were referred to the report many times during your testimony that was addressed to Dr. G. Ramokopa from J. Ngobo. You remember that?
Yes, Council.
And you testified that you were part in compiling that report. Remember that?
Yes, Council.
It is also true that when you were compiling this report, the information you provided there, it was the information to the best of your knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
And this report, you compiled it together with the nursing nurse, Sister Manaka. Is that correct?
It is correct, Council.
You and Sister Manaka also testified at the arbitration proceeding under the then acting Deputy Justice Moseneke. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'll come back to that. Now, let's go to page 30255 of this report. as a code, please, my lady. My apology. Are you there, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yes, Council.
Now, on this page, under the subheading Life Esidimeni Project, Discharge and Admission Process. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
For the purpose of record, and for sake of time, I will read the paragraph. Or you can read it. If you are done, you can let me know that you have read it.
Council, may you please just read it for me? The font is very small and I have eye problem.
Not a problem, already. There was an agreement between the Marathon and the CCRC Life Esidimeni project teams that they will discharge some functional from CCRC patients to the NGO to create space for patients from Life Esidimeni. The discharged patients were patients that were stable and they were assessed to require further treatment in a less restrictive environment. They were assessed by a medical doctor and the psychiatric nurses from CCRC. The following were taken along with the mental health care users on discharge. Bullet 1, the discharge report from the medical doctor. Bullet 2, discharge summary from the psychiatric nurses. Bullet 3, copy of medication prescription chart. Bullet 4, copy of MHCA form 3, open brackets, discharge form, close bracket. 1 month supply of prescribed medication. Did you see that?
Yes, I'm on the page, Council.
Yes. Do you confirm the content of this paragraph, ma'am?
The content of this paragraph, I think then the medical doctor or the psychiatric nurse will be the one who can confirm this.
Thank you. Remember, I asked you that you said you and Miss Sister Manaka, you compile the report. But however, I'm bound by your answer. Let's carry on, ma'am. Now, on the very same page, under subheading discharge, you'll see there it says after care, treatment, and rehabilitation is completed, the user will be discharged home or be placed in an alternative care. Do you see that?
No, Council, which page?
The same page, just above the subparagraph that I've read.
Okay, Council. I can see the discharge heading after care, treatment and rehabilitation is completed. The user will be discharged home or be placed in alternative care. Yes, I can see that, Council.
The alternative care in this paragraph, will that mean an NGO?
Alternative care can be an NGO or the patient can be placed back home.
Thank you. Now, let's carry on, ma'am. In your V19, exhibit V19, page 37484.
I'm there, Council.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And subparagraph 3.
Yes, Council.
As a good, please, my lady. Did my lady want to say something?
Yes, continue.
Thank you, my lady. Now, on this paragraph, we are. I'm going to read quick. So, but my focus will be on the last 5 lines of this paragraph. During January 2016, we were told that Cullinan Care Innovation Center, CCRC, was going to receive mental health care users from Life Esidimeni. The CEO of the institution, line number 2, just after the word institution, it will read as follows: Ms. Martin Sonyatlu and her exco has discussed the matter before we were informed. Line 3 will start with, I was informed by Mr. Mabaso, to line 4 number should as follows. I was informed by Mr. Nkwiti Mabaso, who was my supervisor by then. Now, there's the part where I'm going to deal with it. That there was going to be a special committee to facilitate the process of the readiness to receive mental health care users from Life Esidimeni. According to Mr. Mabaso, the committee was to comprise of a social worker, nursing, facility management unit, laundry, and food services. Do you remember this special committee, ma'am?
Yes, Council.
I hold instructions from Ms. Nyatu that further to what we have just said here, that the committee was to facilitate the process of readiness. The other purpose of this committee was to add on the MDT teams to make sure that the discharged patients are settled where they were going. Is that so?
I don't know the information, Council.
Were you part of this special committee?
Yes, Council.
And I further hold instructions that this special committee was very much functional in assisting in making sure that the mental health care users were taken care of. Do you agree?
I disagree, Council, because this special committee, we were not discussing the patients as such, a Council.
Thank you. But we were also discussing the facilities.
Yes, Council.
Thank you. Now, let's carry on V9 on page 374, V19, my apology, my lady, 37488. Where will be focused? Are you ready, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yes, Council.
On paragraph 6. I've referred to this paragraph before, but I'm going to carry on where I left on the way just after receipt 35. Are you there?
Yes, Council.
The initial arrangement was that the two NGOs will receive mental health users from CCRC. However, it happened that some mental health users came from Life Esidimeni to CCRC, then to Sebadinga and Enka. I do not know the requirements that NGO should meet to be compliant, but I remember that at some stage, we took a walk to Sebadinga as a multidisciplinary team, and Diana Noile took us for a round. I saw food in the refrigerator and groceries in the storeroom. The surroundings were clean that day. Regarding staff, I met their social worker by the name of Bitumero, and we were also informed that they had nurses. I'm not sure about that because I was interested in dealing with the social workers. With Enka, I do not know about their staff, and I have never met their social worker. Now, I hold instructions that the purpose of this walk by multidisciplinary team at Sebadinga was to make sure that the patients will be taken care of in a facility that they were going to. Is that so?
The purpose of the work council from my side was to meet with the social worker, and the MDT was to check the environment. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Now, ma'am, let's carry on. I further hold instructions from Ms. Nyatlu that at all material facts during the project of Life Esidimeni, she was receiving instructions from Dr. Manamela. Do you have any recollection of that?
Yes, Council, she once told us that.
Thank you. Now, let's go to the report of JJ Ngobo on page 30257 to 30263. Are you there, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yeah, we're still trying to rotate the page. We are the Council.
No problem, Ms. Ndlovu. My apologies, my lady.
Continue, Mr.
As a court, please, my lady. Now, I will, as I've said, Ms. Ndlovu, that there will be a few paragraphs that I'll be referring you to from this page up until 30263. Now, on this page 30257, so maybe paragraph number 4. It reads as follows. The 8 highlighted mental care users in the list above were subsequently discharged to Anchor on the 23rd of June 2016 as instructed by Dr. Manamela. The purpose thereof was to create space for the other mental health care users to be sent to CCRC, so she said. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
Then I'll go now to the next page, 30258. On 30258, paragraph 5. I'll read. The 9 highlighted mental care users in the list above were subsequently discharged to Anchor NGO on the 23rd June 2016 as instructed by Dr. Manamela. The purpose thereof was to create space for other mental health care users to be sent to CCRC, so she said. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
The next page is 30260.
Continue.
I'm there, Council.
Are you there, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yes, Council.
Thank you. First paragraph, the 4 highlighted mental care users in the list above were subsequently discharged to Anchor NGO on the 23rd of June 2016, as instructed by Dr. Manamela. The purpose of was to create space for the other mental health users to be sent to CRC, so she said. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
Then now we'll go to page 30261. Paragraph 5. The 4, are you there, Ms. Ndlovu? The 4 highlighted mental health care users in the above list were subsequently discharged to Anchor on the 23rd of June, as instructed by Dr. Manamela. The purpose thereof was to create space for the other mental health users to be sent to CCRC, what she said. Did you see that, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yes, Council.
Lastly, page 30263. Paragraph 5. The 8 highlighted mental health care users in the above were subsequently discharged to Anchor NGO on the 23rd June 2016, as instructed by Dr. Manamela. The purpose thereof was to create space for the other mental health cases to be sent to CCRC, so she said. Now, ma'am, I've referred you to these 5 paragraphs where it clearly states that the instructions were from Dr. Manamela. Do you agree?
I don't know who was communicating with Dr. Manamela regarding the information that is written on the report, Council.
Okay, Ms. Ndlovu, let's turn to page 23128 of the arbitration proceedings. Right. Now, thank you, Ms. Ndlovu. On this page 23128, there is Mr. Advocate Tebo Utamo, who was at the stand on a particular day, and he was asking you questions at the arbitration. Do you remember that?
Yes, Council.
Now, the first line there, Advocate Tebo Utamo said, Dr. Manamela instructed the CEO. Mashodi Devin said, yes. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
Do you still stand by that testimony?
Council, when I was at arbitration, I was representing CCRC, not only myself as the social worker.
My lady, I see there's a hand from Miss Marriott.
Actually from me. It's actually from me, my lady.
Yes.
My lady, the witness, just shortly before my lady friend started with this page referred to, the witness testified that she was told that the instructions came from Dr. Manamela. And that was the evidence right through that she was told. She wasn't personally involved in that. So I don't know where my learned friend is going with this.
Yes, Mr.
As a court, please, my lady, the witness has testified, my lady, that she was part of the report that she compiled, and she also gave when she compiled the report, she compiled to the best knowledge that she had. So she was told by the CEO of the time. So I was confirming that this is what she said at arbitration, my lady.
Mr. Late?
Yes, my lady, that's exactly what I said. She just told the court that she was told, and that's exactly what she said, although she didn't say at the arbitration that she was told. Evidence before this court, and that corroborates with everything else that this court has already heard, is that she was told that she got instructions from Dr. Manamela. And regarding the report, she testified that the things that she did not have personal knowledge of, she was told by the nursing manager and the other people involved. So I don't know, this part evidence has been canvassed over and over and over regarding her knowledge of the contents of the report. So I don't know where Mr. Shabangu is going, because he's just reiterating evidence that has already been before this court, and I cannot see that there's any discrepancy between this witness's evidence and the statements made on behalf of the CEO.
Mr. Shabangu, and I don't think he has answered the question, because the objection was revolving around the issue as to where are you going with the questions, because this evidence has already been canvassed, but I don't think you answered that.
My lady, the questions is to highlight the fact that there were instructions from Dr. Manamela to discharge the patients, my lady. And she has testified.
Okay, let me hear you, Mr. I didn't want you to be repeating what you have just said, but you can continue, Mr.
Yes, madam, I've said, as a good piece, my lady.
I cannot see any reason why it must be highlighted. The evidence is before court.
In any event, the witness said that this is what she was told. She doesn't have
hearsay evidence. That's correct, madam.
Yes, that's what Mr. Late has been saying all along. So you can leave the point, Mr. Shabangu.
As the court pleases, my lady. My lady, I'll leave the point. I will address it on my argument. I will carry on as the court pleases, my lady.
Continue.
Now, Ms. Ndlovu, let's turn to page 6284.
I'm there, Council.
Thank you, Ms. Ndlovu.
Continue, Mr. Shabangu.
Ms. Ndlovu, you were referred a number of times by my learned colleague, Mr. Pichela, on this statement. This is a statement of Ms. Dorothy Franks. Now, Ms. Ndlovu, I want us to look at the following on this statement. The statement is a full name, Dorothy Franks, all the information, ID number, gender female, residential address is there, 26 Velgas Estres, race colored.
This necessary, Mr. Shabangu? Just go to the point, please.
Thank you, my lady, as the court, please, my lady. Now, Ms. Ndlovu, on this statement, I want you to check the following. As you scroll down on page 6285. Do you see that, Ms. Ndlovu?
Yes, Council.
And there is a date inserted there, which is 26 June 2016. Do you see that?
Yes, Council.
Then further, as you scroll down on the same document, there is a step that appears to
Can you
be.
first look at the statement? Let her read the statement on her own first, just to refresh her memory on the statement.
As the court, please, my lady, I'm getting
Just read the whole statement quickly, Ms. Ndlovu, and you'll tell us when you have done so.
Can I read it loud, Judge?
No. Or you want to read loud, or you want him to read it for you? I thought I wanted you just to read it on your own, not to read it to us.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
As the court, please, my lady.
Advocate. Yes, thank you. Again, advocate. I'm done reading the statement, Judge.
Okay, thank you. You can ask questions, Mr. Shabangu.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ndlovu. As a court, please, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, I want to
just referred her to page 6286. Is that correct? I don't know whether you want.
Yes, my lady. I started from
this list that is here.
Yes, my lady. I started from 6284,
Yes.
and yes, I'll carry on up until the last part of the statement on the subsequent pages.
Okay.
Thank you. As a court, please, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, I was just addressing the part on the page 6285, where I've shown you the date, and I was now going to deal with the issue of Commissioner of Oath. Do you see the date of the Commissioner of Oath of the statement?
Yes, Council.
And do you see the date that says it was commissioned on the 2017 July?
Oh,
There is a hand here, Mr. Late.
My lady, firstly, this witness had nothing to do with the taking of the statement. She was not the Commissioner of Oath. She was not present when the statement was taken. Furthermore, it's clear that there is a mistake in the date that this statement was signed. If the court have a look at the contents of the statement, it refers to incidents that took place in January 2017. And this statement apparently mistakenly showed to have been taken on the 26th of June 2016. That's even before the incidents that refers to in paragraph 3 has happened. So it's clear that the person who took the statement made a mistake with the date on which the statement was taken.
But in any event, she is not the author of the statement. She's not the one who appended her signature on the statement. She has got nothing to do with the statement.
She's got nothing to do with the statement. I can't see where he's going.
I don't know where Mr. Shabangu is going with this question. This statement is not this witness statement, Mr. Shabangu.
As the court pleases, my lady, I agree with the court fully, as well as my learned colleague, Mr. Late, that the statement is not for this witness. The point that I wanted to highlight, my lady, is the fact that the date of commissioning and the date of signature is different. Nothing else that I'm going to take the witness to the
but then why take this on the witness? Because this witness is not the author. It is not her statement. Shouldn't this wait for Ms. Franks to testify?
As a court, my lady,
clarify the court regarding that if she has got knowledge of what really happened.
As a court, please, my lady, I'll leave to that. Now, my lady, the witness was taken to task by my learned colleague on the issue that I'm going to come up with the list. That's where I'm going, my lady. So I wanted to start from the statement going down there, my lady.
All right, we are well aware of the discrepancies in the dates on the statement. Then you can continue.
As the court pleases, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, you were questioned by my learned colleague, Ms. Pihlela, on the issue of
is it Ms. Pihlela or Mr.
Pihlela? My apologies if I said Miss, it's Mr. Pihlela, my lady.
Mm.
On the list. Now, as you scroll down to this statement, Ms. Ndlovu, you'll see there's a list that appears on page 6286. Do you see that, Mrs. Ndlovu?
Yes, Counsel.
During cross-examination by Mr. Pihlela, you were told that there's 29 names of patients that appeared on this list, and it's true, there's 29. Now, the question that I want to ask you is that it's a common cause that Mr. Charity Ratoto was transferred to Anchor House on the 23rd of June 2016, is it so?
Yes, Counsel.
Now,
if I may, my lady, I would like to raise an objection and apologies to my learned colleague for the interference in his cross-examination. On the first basis is him saying it is common cause that Mr. Ratoto was transferred on such and such a date, when that issue clearly is not common cause, because we know that there was a time when Mr. Ratoto was unknown or designated as an unknown patient. Therefore, we cannot say that Mr. Ratoto was transferred on such and such a date. And that much is borne out by that list. The second basis of my objection would be, my lady, that the same line of questioning was objected to when I tried to bring it forward to the attention of the court on the basis that it was irrelevant and it did not contribute anything to what this court is called upon to decide, and that is causation and culpability. on that basis, my lady, I will object to this line of questioning by my learned colleague, because I was not granted the opportunity to go any further with that statement. So he as well should not have that opportunity. Simple as that, my lady. May it please you,
Yes, my lady. I was just waiting for Mr. Shabangu's question, because there was nothing yet to object again. If his line of questioning was going in the same direction of Mrs. Pishlela's, I would have objected. So I just want to wait for his question before we can do any objections.
Yes, I think Mr. Pihlela jumped the gun. Can we hear the question? He had not yet finished with his question. The first part we had, but he had not yet finished. Mr. Shabangu?
As a court, please, my lady.
Just finish your question so that we can know where you're going.
Yes, as a court, please, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, during cross-examination by Mr. Pihlela, you testified that you gave Ms. Dorothy Franks the list. It's either on the 23rd or on the 24th of June 2016. You don't remember. Do you remember that?
I gave Ms. Dorothy Franks the list with the contact details, the addresses, and the ID numbers of the patients that were discharged into her care.
Thank you.
Yes,
Now
I'm objecting, my lady. The witness never testified. The witness did not testify that she gave the list on the 23rd to Ms. Dorothy Franks. She said she cannot remember on which date she gave Ms. Dorothy Franks the list.
Mr. Shabangu is now saying either on the 23rd or the 24th.
In any way,
the question is that I can't remember. In fact, the evidence was not to the effect that the list was given on a specific date, as far as I can recall.
That's correct, my lady. In any way, my question is now, where's Mr. Shabangu going with this? This witness had nothing to do with the treatment of any of the patients. She was not involved in the transfer of the mental health care users. Where is he going with this? Whether this list was given on which date, whether this list was given to anybody, it's not taking this court any further. We're just listening to the same questions over and over and over again.
Mr. Pihlela, Shabangu?
As the court pleases, my lady, I always respond to Mr. Pihlela sometimes when I cross-examine my lady. My lady.
What are you saying?
I'm saying my lady has been calling me Mr. Pihlela sometimes when during my cross-examination. Sometimes.
My apologies for that. I think yes.
I take no offense to that, my lady. Now, my line of questioning, my lady, is that the witness was taken to task by Mr. Pihlela on this issue of the list, my lady. So now, I got only two questions on this issue of the list, my lady.
But where are you going? That is the question.
Yes, as the court, please, my lady. If the witness can
remember, the witness was not involved in the discharging of and the treatment of the patients.
As the court,
whether she submitted the list or not, it's immaterial.
As the court pleases, my lady, if the court can allow me to state where am I going with this question, my lady, if the witness can step aside, I will address the question.
I think she has done so. Do you see her? I think she has done so. I don't see her myself.
As a court, please, my lady, I don't see her. My lady, the importance or the relevance in terms of this list, my lady, is that Ms. Franks, in her statement, saying that there were no documentation to the patients, and patients were not identified. Now, my line of questioning, my lady, this witness being the social worker at CCRC who deals with this, the list and the identification book of the patient. It is in line with the fact that relates to causation, whereby when she interacted with Ms. Dorothy, which we are not sure which day.
When she interacted with Ms. Franks?
On that particular day, which we are not sure which day was that, did Ms. Dorothy Frank address the issue of the patients that didn't have documentation on that particular day? Because it is there that she talked to Mr. Dorothy. That's where I'm going, my lady.
Mr. Late?
If I understand correctly, my lady,
noted you, Mr. Pihlela. Continue.
Does he want to know whether there was any response from Ms. Dorothy Franks regarding this list? Is that the question of Mr.
Yes.
Of Mr.
That's how we understand. We can confirm, Mr. Shawangu.
My lady, regarding the patients that were left at the patients that were transferred to Anchor and NGO, which did not have documentation.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm going, my lady.
Yeah, is he asking the witness whether there was any response from Dorothy Franks regarding the lack of documentation?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Thank you. That's all. No, I don't have any problems with such question.
Mr. Pihlela?
As court pleases, my lady. Unfortunately, I keep having interruption in my connection. I'm having to connect from my phone. We don't have internet at work, so that is some of the challenges I'm facing. My lady, I understand that this witness's testimony is to the effect that she supposedly handed a list to my client on an unspecified day. Now, during my cross-examination, I was not allowed to canvass that issue any further. I was not allowed to contradict that witness on that aspect. And now it seems like a door is being opened for Mr. Shabangu to do something akin to that. I would therefore request, my lady, that I be granted an opportunity to reply in respect of this witness on those aspects, my lady. It is only fair to my client.
On which aspect? Because okay, let me hear Mr. Late.
My lady, the reason why Mr. Pihlela was not allowed was because he went on and on and on about the lack of knowledge of the date pertaining to the list of mental health care users. He never asked a question about any actions from Mrs. Francis' part. If he had done that
was different.
If he had stated to the witness, listen, Mrs. Francis offered or asked regarding the documentation when we didn't receive it, I would not have any problems with that. But Mr. Pihlela never stated his client's version as to how it happened. That's why he was stopped. This is something that he could have canvassed, but he didn't do that. I don't think if everybody is going to be allowed to re-examine a witness over and over and over again, we're never going to finish.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pihlela, I'm giving you the chance for the last time, then I'm going to rule on the matter.
My lady, I specifically put it to the witness that my client will come and say that she did not receive a list on the 23rd of June 2016. And then that was objected to. The witness never answered to that. In fact, the answer that she gave was that Ms. Franks was wrong. And when I sought to canvass that issue, I was prevented from doing so. Now we are saying I never put a version to the witness on this basis or on that basis. I'm at a loss, my lady. I'm
Okay,
totally
thank
at a loss.
you. The record will speak for itself. Ms. Mjera.
As it please the court, my lady, I just wanted to say that what my learned colleague, Mr. Petlela, has just said now is not correct. What actually happened is that the witness did respond to Mr. Pitlela's question by saying that she does not recall whether she handed over the list on the 23rd or 24th. So Mr. Pitlela's problem was that he wanted the witness to answer his question on the manner in which he was expecting, like to be specific, to say that she handed over the list maybe on this particular date, but the witness could not say that because she said she does not remember the exact date. So that is where Mr. Pitlela's problem is, according to me, my lady.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to allow Mr. Shabangu to continue, and I'll deal with Mr. Pitlela at a later stage if should he wants to continue to cross-examine the witness, because in my view, he had his time. He did what he wanted to converse on the witness. Thank you.
As a court, please, my lady.
Yes, the witness can come back.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ndlovu. Ms. Ndlovu.
Do you see her? Do you see the witness?
I can see the witness.
Ms. Ndlovu, where are you? Huh? Do you see her?
Here, Judge.
Okay.
She's visible, my lady.
I don't know. Maybe on my side she's not visible.
Yes. She's visible to me, my lady.
We can see her.
You can all see her.
Yes, Judge.
Can you all see her?
I can see her, my
Just
lady.
wait for me.
Side.
I can also see her, my lady.
May it please the court, my lady, the witness is visible.
My lady, you are muted.
Yes, continue.
As a court, please, my lady. I see it's 11:05. However, I'm about to reach the conclusion of my cross-examination.
Do you want us to take a break now? Are you saying we should take a break now?
We can take a break, my lady.
Is that what you are saying? You want to finish later?
Yes,
okay.
my lady. Yes.
The witness is warned. The court is going to take a tea adjournment. We'll resume at 11:20. Thank you.
As a court pleases.
As a court pleases, my lady.
May it please the court, my lady.
Court pleases, my lady.
Thank you.
As a court pleases, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, during your interaction with Ms. Dorothy Franks, the day you handed her over the list, did she raise any concern of patients that were not identified?
No, Judge.
Before the witness can answer, I would like to raise an objection.
Yes, let us hear you, Mr. Pichel. I'm listening, Mr. Pichel. Yes.
Yes, my lady. I wanted to raise an objection before the witness could answer.
But we must first hear the question. She has not yet answered, isn't it?
Yes, I believe that my learned colleague has already posed the question with reference to.
That's why I stopped her before she answered, because normally you want to raise objections while the court has not even had an answer, the question itself. So I've heard the question, you may continue.
Yes, court, please. Unfortunately, I was also cut off by the connection, so I didn't hear what was happening.
Okay, it's fine. Let us hear your objection.
One is the question of relevance. I don't see how this question is taking this matter any forward. This is a peripheral issue that has no bearing on the question of causation, nor does it have any bearing on the task of this court, which is to determine whether there is anybody culpable for the death of any of the deceased. Secondly, my lady, the objection is premised on the fact that this witness has not indicated an exact date when such an interaction might or might not have taken place. The version of my client being that there was no such interaction on a specific date.
Can you let him that?
Apologies, my lady. I seem to have been disconnected again. I apologize to this court for that inconvenience.
If you were frozen.
Indeed, my lady, it indicated
the second part, I've heard your first part.
Yes, the second part being, my lady, that we are talking of an unknown date when an interaction might or might not have occurred. Now, the problem with that is, one, it is unfair to my client because now she does not know what case to answer in a manner of speaking. We know for a fact that Mr. Ratsotso was at anchor for a very limited number of days, some 4 to 5 days. We know that the 23rd of June 2016 was a Thursday. We know the 24th was a Friday, and that he was subsequently taken ill on the 28th or 29th, which was supposed to be a Sunday or a Monday. Now, the problem with the question is it's going to elicit evidence that not only is it irrelevant, but it calls for speculation. If the witness cannot confine herself to a specific date when she did that, then she will merely be speculating. May please do, my lady.
Thank you, Mr. Pichela. Mr. Shabangu.
As the court pleases, my lady.
Just before you respond, just before you reply, I see Mr. Late.
As the court pleases, my lady.
Yes, my lady.
Say something.
I also have the relevance is a bit sketchy regarding, as I previously said, with in relation to the cause of death accusation, but the objection regarding the relevance as to the inability of the witness to remember the date that is not logical. You can remember that you had done something, but it's possible that you cannot remember the date. So I don't think that the fact that she can't remember the date that disqualifies her from remembering the incident and what had happened.
And we can't say that evidence is going to elicit speculation.
That's
as
correct,
Mr. Taylor has submitted. Yes, Mr. Shabangu, can you please address the issue of relevance?
My lady, regarding the issue of relevance, I submit, my lady, this question is also most relevant because, my lady, it was raised during cross-examination by Mr. Pichela to numerous clinicians about if the anchor NGO did not know the patient, how are they going to give him medication? How are they going to treat him, my lady? So now we have here the witness, who is the person who knows the patient, the patient. And if Ms. Franks has asked the witness, we have XYs, we don't know. It's relevant to the fact that that patient needs to be identified and say, this is Mr. Tratoto, I'm identifying him to you, this is him. Because it goes further, Mali, that it went further and said, how was Mr. Tratoto going to be treated?
Yes, but don't we have evidence that his identification was lost between when he left Anchor, when he left CCRC to Anchor, and then at the NGO Anchor to the hospital? We have that evidence, isn't it? That evidence is on record. Why should we keep on revisiting that evidence? Is there anything that one wants to add to that evidence?
As the court pleases, my lady.
Lady, do you want to say something before I close the issue?
Yes, my lady, your ladyship is quite correct. It is clear from the evidence that the person who took Charity Ratsotso to the hospital didn't know him.
Correct.
Because he was a new employee.
He was not identified at Anchor.
Although there are much speculation about the ability to treat a patient if you don't know his medical history and so forth, that is something that the court, on the evidence as it is now, will have difficulty in any way to take a decision whether it's really expert evidence or whether it is only speculation on the part of the doctor.
Yes,
and this witness will not be able to assist this court. Oh.
Yes, Mr. Pichela. Mr. Shabangu, I don't see where you're going with this question, because that evidence, we have sufficient evidence on record regarding the loss of identity of Mr. Rasoto from Anchor to the hospital, or from CCRC to Anchor.
As the court pleases, my lady, I'll move on, my lady.
Please move on. Can the witness come back? Thank you. Proceed.
As the court pleases, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, on page 37489,
Page 3.
7489 of V19.
37489.
Yes, we are there.
As the court please, my lady. On paragraph 8, it's a short paragraph. I can read it to you, or you want to read it?
You please just read it for me, counsel.
As the court pleases. The two NGOs were closed after reports of death and allegations that they were operating unlawfully. After the closure of CCRC had to take over the care of mental health care users, which were under the two NGOs. That is how it became that CCRC ended up having 267 mental health care users, which was in excess of 150 that the center had capacity to cater for. Now, on this part that I've read, Ms. Ndlovu, it is clear now that CCRC was overcapacitated with a patient, correct?
Correct, Council.
And what was the situation at CCRC after CCRC took over the patients from these two NGOs? Can you briefly describe the situation?
I don't remember, Council. It's been long.
Before the two NGOs were taken over by CCRC, was the situation at CCRC hectic?
No, Council.
What is the response? I didn't hear your answer, Ms. Ndlovu.
I said no, Judge.
Okay, continue.
As a court, please, my lady. Now, Ms. Ndlovu, in your V19
Lady, it seems that council is frozen.
Yes, I can see that. If anybody can alert him. Melissa, can you please do that? Melissa, are you there?
Yes, Judge, I'm still here.
Please assist the council and just alert him that the screen is frozen.
Okay, Judge, that's fine.
I don't know whether it's him, but it can be him who's trying to join the meeting.
Okay, ek sê vir hulle. May it please the court, my lady, Mr. Shabangu was apparently, his connection was disturbed and he's endeavoring to reconnect.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pinel.
May it please the court, my lady.
Coca, are you assisting Mr. Shabangu?
No, my lady, my apologies.
Can we take a 5-10 minute break for him to connect or sort out his connectivity? And then we'll resume. Hello?
I'm back, my lady. Can
Are
the
you
court
back?
see? Yes, my lady.
I can't see you. I don't know whether the others can see you.
I can see you, my lady. I can see the witness.
Mr. Van Bergen?
I don't see Mr. Shabangu, my lady.
Can the witness, Ms. Ndlovu, can you see Mr. Shabangu?
No, Judge, I can't see him.
My lady, I'll rejoin again.
Please do. I quickly visit the bathroom.
Lady, may the witness take a body break at the moment while we are waiting?
Come again?
May she go to the bathroom, my lady?
But we're just from the tea break. What happened, Mrs. Witness? You're supposed to do that while we take these breaks. You can do that quickly.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, now I can see you. Will have to wait for the witness.
Okay. As a court, please, my lady.
Nelisiwe, I see Mr. Malamela has just joined the meeting. Was he present at the roll call? Can you hear me, Nelisiwe?
Yes, Judge, I can hear you. I can just have a look, Judge. Yes, Judge, he was
In the
present.
meeting.
Judge, can you hear me?
While we're waiting for the witness.
Judge, Mr. Pichela is also having issues with his connection on his side.
Mr. Pichela.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, it's fine. He'll keep on coming back because he indicated that he was also connecting from his phone. Are you checking what I requested you to check?
Judge, I didn't get that.
I'm still, well, the witness is back. I said you must check if Mr. Manamela was at the roll call this morning because I see he has just joined the meeting now.
Judge, yes, I did say he was in the roll call this morning.
You didn't say that to me. Okay, let's leave it. The witness is here. You said you were going to have a look and I have not yet got the answer. All right. can we, the witness is back? Continue,
As a
Mr.
court, I don't see the witness.
But Mr. Pichela, I don't think he has joined now.
My lady, I'm here.
Can my lady see me?
Thank you. Continue, Mr. Shabangu. Mr. Shabangu.
My lady, can the court see me, my lady?
Yes, I'm waiting for you to continue.
I said, my lady, I don't see the witness, but however, with the court intelligence, I'll continue if the witness can hear me loud and clear.
But the witness, I can see you. I don't know whether the witness can see you. And your line you seem not to be.
I can see Mr. Shabangu, Judge, but he's blurry.
Yes.
As the court pleases,
Can
my
you
lady,
still not see the witness? If that is the case, you might have to leave, exit and return.
As a court please, my lady, let me do that. I can see the witness. I can see the court, my lady. Can everybody see me? My apologies, my lady, with the poor network. Can I continue, my lady?
Yes.
Ms. Ndlovu, I wanted to refer you to page 37485 of the V9 exhibit. On that page, we're reading from paragraph 1, 2, 3, which says line number 6 should read as follows. I'll read it. On the 10th of May 2016, we went to Randfontein Life Esidimeni Center, and when we arrived there, we found out that arrangement was actually for us to go to Waverley Center. At Randfontein, we were received by Ms. Salmo Mashile and Ms. Frida Sinello. Line number 9 should read as follows. According to the instruction from Ms. Nyatlu, only 2 patients were to be discharged by Randfontein Life Esidimeni Center to CCRC on the 10th of May 2016. Line number 10 to 11 read as follows. However, Ms. Salmo Mashile insisted that just because CCRC MDT was using a 27-seater bus, more patients should be discharged to CCRC. Line number 11 to 12 should read as follows. Ms. Manaka, the nursing manager to CRC, had to contact the CEO, Ms. Nyatlu, in order to get clear instruction on how many patients should be discharged to CCRC. Line number 13, just before the word communication, I'm inserting the word telephonic. In line 14, just before the word communication, I'm inserting the word telephonic. 16 should read as follows. Subsequently, there was a telephonic communication between CEO Ms. Nyatlu and Ms. Mashile. Thereafter, a telephonic communication between Dr. Manamela, open brackets, the Director of Mental Health, Directorate of GDOH, close bracket, and our CEO, Ms. Nyatlo, which resulted in Ms. Mashile, line 16 should read as follows, instructing CCRC officials to take 26 mental healthcare users to CCRC. Now, Ms. Ndlovu, will you agree with me that when the CEO was instructing you and the team to collect 10 patients at Life Esidimeni, she was acting reasonably, looking at the best interest of the mental health care users?
Objection, my lady. The witness before court never testified that she collected patients at Life Esidimeni. So the question by my learned colleague is wrong. He can just rephrase the question.
Mr. Shabangu?
As a court, please, my lady, I will read this paragraph on the same page what I've just read. Line number 9 should be as follows. According to the instruction from Ms. Nyatlu, only 10 patients were to be discharged by Randfontein Life Esidimeni Center to CCRC on the 10th of May 2016. Do you have that, so Ms. Ndlovu? Now, the proposition that I'm asking is, do you agree with me that when the when the CEO was giving the instructions that only 10 patients were to be discharged, she was acting, looking at the best interest of the mental health care users? I see my leader is Mr. Late.
Mr. Late?
My lady, the first time the question was asked, but it's very, very similar to now, is whether it was acted in the best interest of the patients and whether the actions were reasonable is a question that this court has to answer at the end of the inquest, when the court has all the facts at its disposal. This witness cannot say that. She cannot testify to that because she doesn't know the totality of the information available at that stage to any of the role players.
Ms. Ndlovu? Once an objection is being raised, you please step aside. Thank you. Continue.
Yes, my lady. This witness did not have all the information at her disposal to answer to the question, because it's a question that this court has to answer when all the information has been provided to this court.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shabangu?
It's something for argument, my lady.
As the court pleases, my lady, I raised the proposition and it was for the witness, my lady, to say she doesn't know whatever, and I cannot take it further than that, my lady. So if the court rules...
The question in my view, the question was not even properly asked, but I don't think it's a question that the witness can answer. Thank you very much. You may proceed.
As the court pleases, my lady, the witness may come back, my lady.
Continue.
As the court pleases, my lady, let me, I think I'm at the end of my cross-examination, my lady. I'm just double-checking my notes.
You may do so.
As the court pleases, my lady. As it pleases this court, my lady, I have no further questions to the witness, my lady. Thank you, Ms. Ndlovu.
Thank you very much. Ms. Munjarara?
Yes, please, the court, my lady. I will be asking the witness some questions.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, please, the court, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, you testified during cross-examination by Advocate Shabangu that your duties at CCRC changed by situation during life Esidimeni. Do you still remember that?
Yes, Counsel.
So I would like you to go to page 37483 in the case line.
The Counsel.
My lady, I would like to refer the witness to paragraph 2 on this page.
Yes.
Paragraph 2. And
Yes.
I would like you to concentrate on the sentence that reads bullet point number 1. It will read as follows. No, my lady, she must start where, sorry, my lady, she must start where just before bullet point number 1, there are 3 lines there which reads line number 5 should read as follows. That is where she should start, my lady.
Continue.
Line number 5 should read as follows. Before the life Esidimeni project, my responsibilities at the institution included the following. Then bullet point number 1, it should read as follows: to facilitate the process of assessment of the patient for purposes of admission at the institution. Can you please explain to the court as to what did this entail? What were you actually doing when we were facilitating the process of assessment for purposes of admission?
When I was facilitating the process of assessment in the institution, I was calling families who requested a space for the patients in the institution, gathering MDT team to attend the meeting for assessments, preparing the mental health care forms that were to be used during the assessments and admission. Yes, Counsel.
Is that all? As far as
I don't remember if I've left out something, Counsel.
Okay, let's go to this sentence that says bullet point number 3 should read as follows: to facilitate the process of discharge of patients from the institution to their families and to the NGO. Can you please explain to the court as to what did this entail as well before life Esidimeni?
Before life Esidimeni, the facilitation of the process of discharge after the patient has been assessed by the doctor, and if there is a possible discharge, then they will let me know so that I can communicate with the family, prepare them for the discharge of the patient, or if whether the patient was to go to an NGO, then I should communicate with the NGO to prepare them. When will the patient be discharged to their care?
Can you please tell the court as to how many NGOs did you facilitate this process of discharge before life Esidimeni?
2 NGOs.
And what are their names, if you still remember?
The first NGO, it was at ESTRS where Dorothy Franks was working. I don't remember the name of the NGO. And the second NGO was the NGO at Charity in Mamelodi, Charity Church in Mamelodi. I don't remember the name of the pastor and the name of the charity. of the NGO charity.
Okay. Let's go to
So
page.
all of them, you don't remember the names of the NGOs?
I don't remember, Judge.
And who was the person in charge of this NGO? The second
The
one.
person, the one in charity,
Yes.
it was Pastor. Oof, I don't remember the name of the pastor.
Was he a he or a she?
It was a he, Judge.
Okay. Can we leave this? Continue, Miss Minjera.
Yes, please, the court, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, can you please tell the court that these patients, in the respect of whom you were facilitating discharges before life Esidimeni, for purposes of admission at CCRC, where were they coming from?
The patients were coming, the patients that were discharged were coming from CCRC to those two NGOs.
Okay, and sorry for that. In fact, my question should have said the patients in respect of whom you were facilitating admissions at CCRC before life Esidimeni, where were they being admitted from when they were coming into the institution?
Into CCRC.
Yes, where were they coming from?
The patients were coming straight from home.
All right. And then during life Esidimeni project, when patients were admitted into CCRC, where were they coming from?
During life Esidimeni project, all the patients that were admitted in CCRC were coming from Randfontein and Waverley. There were no patients that were coming from families or outside. It was only the project of life Esidimeni.
As a result, your duty of facilitating this admission automatically fell away during life Esidimeni project. Am I correct?
Yes, Counsel.
And can you also tell the court as to during life Esidimeni project, the patients who were being discharged, from CCRC to NGO? Sorry, my lady. Sorry. I'm making mistakes. Let me just quickly go through my notes. Sorry, my lady. All right. My question, in fact, to you, Ms. McClory Ndlovu, is as follows. During life Esidimeni project, were you still facilitating the process of discharge of patients from the institution to the NGOs to which Siaba Dinga and Enka?
No, Counsel.
Who was doing that?
The nurses, Counsel.
Let's go to page 37484, which is the next page just after the one we were reading. Paragraph 1 and 2. These two paragraphs, they deal with your duties during life Esidimeni project. Can I, my lady, with the leave of this honorable court, read these duties of the witness during life Esidimeni project?
This
into
is
the
page 37483.
37484.
Okay, yes. And then you said the first two paragraphs.
Yes, my lady. Can I read them into the record?
You can do that.
Yes, please, the court, my lady. My duties during life Esidimeni project were as follows: to travel to life Esidimeni centers with other MDT members in my capacity as a social worker to collect ID books of the patients, contact details and addresses of the families of the patients, Paragraph 2, communicating with families about placement of their loved ones in CCRC for those whose contact details were received from Life Esidimeni social workers to inform families about the death of the patients when there were patients who have died. Doing administrative work of opening the files of the new patients discharged from Life Esidimeni to CCRC. Tracing families of the patients, having meetings with families who would have come to visit their loved ones in the institution, monitoring the register book of families who had visited the patients and to check the new information regarding contact details and addresses that the families would have left in the register book. And lastly, updating the new information in the patient's file. So, Ms. Ndlovu, do you confirm this to be your duties during Life Esidimeni project?
Yes, Council.
I see that from your statement here, there is no mention of discharge and of discharging patient and admitting patient or facilitating those processes. Do you agree with me?
Yes, Council.
And the reason for that, is it because you, of your testimony before this court that to the effect that during Life Esidimeni project you were not involved in the process of facilitating admissions or facilitating discharges of patients from Life Esidimeni to CCRC and also from CCRC to the two NGOs which were housed in Cullinan?
Yes, Council.
Okay. Just a second, my lady. Ms. Ndlovu, you have testified before this court that you were also a member of MDT Cullinan. You were also a member of MDT Cullinan. Is that correct?
It is correct, Council.
When did you become a member of MDT Cullinan?
When I started working in Cullinan in 2013, I started being member of MDT.
Can you tell the court as to when was this MDT of Cullinan established?
When I started working at Cullinan Care and Rehabilitation Center, MDT team was already there. I joined them as I was a new social worker.
So MDT Cullinan was not, so you are telling the court that MDT Cullinan was not established solely for purposes of the Life Esidimeni project?
Yes, Council, it was already there when I started working there.
Can you explain before this court as to what were the duties of MDT Cullinan before Life Esidimeni project?
Cullinan, for the purpose of the record, refers to CCRC.
My duties as a social worker before Life Esidimeni.
No, Miss. My question is, can you please tell the court the duties of MDT Cullinan, the duties of the multidisciplinary team, not your duties?
Just before you respond, I see there is a hand from Mr. Late.
But I think the evidence regarding the duties of the multidisciplinary teams within the Department of Health, and specifically the mental health department, is sufficiently before this court, and it's just wasting time to ask this witness about it. There has been numerous testimonies about the duties of the multidisciplinary teams. It's not.
Yes,
it's not. It's not. It's.
My lady, as far as my recollection is concerned, the evidence before this court is about the duties of the MDT during the Life Esidimeni project, not before the Life Esidimeni project. Because as far as I remember, no one, my lady, has...
What are you going to achieve with informing the court about these duties prior to the Life Esidimeni project? What is it that you want to achieve which has any relevance to the determination of the issues before court?
I will abandon the question, my lady.
Okay, I thought you were going to respond. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Ndlovu, let's go to page 30256. That is the report from Mr. Jeje Ngobo to Dr. Jiram Cooper.
I'm there, Council.
Let's go to paragraph 2, my lady. Paragraph 2 there.
Paragraph 2 of this page, under
Yes,
the date of the 10th of May.
Yes, my lady.
Continue.
Can I read this paragraph, my lady?
Yes, you may.
Yes, please, the court. The CEO, Ms. Matsili Sonyatlo, instructed the team to fetch 10 MHCUs from LE in Randfontein. But on arrival, the team met Ms. Salom Mashile and Frida Snello from Mental Health Directorate and Central Office, who wanted to know what mode of transport they had arrived with to fetch the MHCUs. They were told that it was a 27-seater bus. Then Ms. Salome contacted Dr. Manamela, informing her that the CCR team should take 27 users instead of the 10. I will end here, my lady, because my main focus is going to be the first line of this paragraph.
You may proceed with your question, Ms. Mujarar.
Yes, please, the court. Ms. Ndlovu, in this paragraph, it is written that the team was instructed to was instructed to fetch 10 MHCUs from Life Esidimeni in Randfontein. So I would like you to tell the court if this instruction, which was written here, did it apply to you as well?
Council, fetching of the mental health care users was not in my capacity, as my role as a social worker was to go and request the documents of the families, like contact details of the families, the addresses, and the ID book or ID cards of the mental health care users.
Okay. And let's go to page
Mr. Late.
My lady, I don't want to unnecessarily interrupt my learned friend, but this witness has already testified as to the contents of those changes to her statement. She has testified regarding duties on during those days, that she was not involved in the transport or into the decanting of this the MHCUs. I don't know why Ms. Musharele wants to take her through everything again. It's already before the court. It's not necessary for the witness to confirm previous evidence during the re-examination by Ms. Musharele. She's just wasting time, really, my lady.
Ms. Mujarara, the question has been answered, but this is just to cloud the record. I mean, you must just be careful. Some of the questions were dealt with, isn't it? It's not necessary for you to deal with each and everything. This is not a criminal trial, as you know.
Yes, please, the court. Mrs. Ndlovu, I'm now in a situation where my lady, I'm somehow compelled to reduce the number of questions that I've prepared for my cross-examination, my lady. So, but the few questions that I will continue with to ask the witness before court, they are as follows. The first one, Ms. Ndlovu, can you please tell the court as to who discharged patients No, before that, who received patients at Life Esidimeni on behalf of CCRC, who were discharged to CCRC?
What is the question?
Who received the patients who were handed over by Life Esidimeni to CCRC for purposes of taking them to CCRC? Who received those patients?
Mr. Late?
Well, the witness already testified that she was not involved. I know Ms. Montreale has prepared her questions, but unfortunately in a hearing, you must be able and you must be willing to let your questions run according to the answers of a witness. And this witness has answered all these questions already. It's not necessary for Ms. Montreale to ask any questions if the answers are already before court. If there's nothing else that she wants to get to the attention of the court, she does not need to ask questions. It's not necessary to ask questions if you just have the questions. As a court,
Ms. Gerald?
As please the court, my lady. But as far as I remember, my lady, no any other counsel has asked this question as to who received the patients on behalf of CCRC.
But we have evidence on record that says she was not involved in the discharge of patients. She even went to the extent of telling the court that on some days she was not even present when the patients were discharged. That evidence is on record.
Correct, my lady. So, as please the court, my lady, that will be the end of my cross-examination or re-examination for this witness. Yeah, it's like I'm in the same position as Mr. Pitler a little bit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming, Ms. Ndlovu. You are therefore excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Can I check what is the arrangement, Mr. Late? About just before you update the court, there was this witness, Mavis Mahotsinyane, isn't it now? She has got legal representation and nobody, as I don't know, Mr. Pitlela, what is the arrangement? Perhaps what we should do, let us check as to when we can resume the proceedings because of there are issues with regard to this holiday. I just want to check the arrangement, but I don't know whether it's necessary to start next week because didn't you line up the witnesses for this week, Mr. Late?
Yes, my lady, this is the last witness for this week because we wanted to call Mr. I remember who still has to be cross-examined by Mr. Pitlela. But
is it Mr. Nofile?
Nofile, that's correct. But we still don't know what his position is.
Just a second. What I'm trying to do, I don't want us to be discussing this in this platform. What I want us to do, if we agree that we're postponing to next week, that will be which date now?
It will be the 9th, my lady, because we are not put down for hearing in next week.
So okay, according to the directive, ne?
Yeah, we were not scheduled for the next week.
That would be the 9th.
That's correct, my lady.
Okay, so let us postpone these proceedings, and then so that we can excuse everyone, and then convert this into a case management meeting. And then deal with the other issues. The proceedings in this matter are therefore adjourned to the 9th, Monday, the 9th of May, 2022.
May it please the court, my lady.
As your ladyship pleases.
As it pleases the court.
Thank you.